Hello. Long time no see. Happy Growing Pains Day. Oh my goodness. For those of you who don't know, this day last year I released my debut album Growing Pains, which feels very surreal to say that it has been both that I have released an album and that it has been a year since that happened are both bizarre things to think about. Yeah, I didn't really know what to do for today because it both feels monumental and also so insignificant in the scheme of things that I wasn't sure how best to mark the occasion. But so I put up a little Q&A thing on my Instagram story, and ask me anything if you will, asking if anyone had any burning questions about the album. And we got some responses, so I thought maybe I would hop on here and give you some answers. I would perhaps suggest sticking around to the end for maybe a little announcement. I don't know, you'll just have to wait and see. Ooh! Kicking us off with an excellent question from my lovely friend Sarah is it good? I would say, genuinely, it's all right. I think it's like a pretty solid album. I think, given that I went into it with no technical skill or knowledge or resources or just anything really, it turned out all right. The whole thing was recorded in Audacity, which is just such a hellscape of a platform. I love it because it's what I record everything in. It's what I'm recording this video in. But by God, is it such a noob thing to have recorded something on, with limited instruments and only one mic that you can kind of hear ringing in a lot of the songs because it's quite an old mic and it hasn't stood the test of time. Wasn't this one. Love this one. My new baby. Please don't explode. But yeah, I mean, I would say it's a relatively good album. It's quite nice. I would say I would give it maybe, God, I don't know, a 7 out of 10. Is that too ambitious? Is it wrong to give my own album a high rating? I just think it's nice. I think it's pretty neat. Our next question comes from the delightful Oat. Oat asks, what made you want to put in the talking tracks? They fully complete it so well. Thank you very much. The talking tracks were kind of a thought that I had from the inception of the album. I really wanted to bring friends into it somehow, and I really love albums that have those sorts of like spoken word voicemail tracks. I just think that they're so cool and clever. I know that they're on so many albums, but I just don't think they get old. I just love hearing like people. I just think it's so cool. I was kind of inspired by, there's a track on a Simon and Garfunkel album where it's just a number of old people just like talking about what it means to be old, and I was like, genius, I'm gonna do that but with young people. Yeah, I don't know, I kind of really wanted them to be there for the start. They were fun to kind of work around because obviously I had no idea what sort of advice people were going to give to themselves, so then taking that and trying to incorporate it into the songs that already existed was a really fun kind of thing, and it worked out like really well. Like I feel like they match up quite well in a way that I hadn't really expected, and narratively tie in a way that I think is quite nice. Yeah, I think they're quite delightful. I'm really glad that I got to include them. Next question. Axel Quack, great username, asks, who made the album cover? My sister, my big sister Jess. She's a million years old. For legal reasons, that is a joke. Please don't kill me, Jess. She is very talented, and has quite similar taste in art to me in some ways, I think. And given that the album is so built around like themes of growing up and nostalgia and childhood and stuff like that, it felt right to ask someone who was there for all of my growing up to make the album cover. Yeah, I think it's really lovely. It was inspired by like kind of Beatrix Potter, Shirley Hughes book covers and stuff like that. It's just so nostalgic and lovely and warm and good, and I think it's really sweet. Yeah, I really like the album cover. I think it's really cool. Don't tell my sister I said any of this because her head might explode. Sam Alabaster asks, who were those handsome young men talking, telling me everyone always loves me? I don't know, who could it be? So the opening interlude track, one of the first interlude tracks on the album, includes the voices of my lovely friend Sam and my lovely friend Oisin telling you that everything's going to be okay. That one is one of my favorite interludes on the album, just because the way that your voices interact. My mum, when I first played it to her, thought that you were like father and son, which I think is hilarious and also like fits in the themes of it. I just think that that one's really sweet. God, I just loved making the interludes so much. It was so nice hearing people talking to themselves from a distance in a way that kind of made them be kinder to themselves, or like just reflect in a way that we don't usually do. But that is one of my favorite interlude tracks on the album. I think it's really cute. John Payman asks, when's the sequel coming out? Growing Pains 2 Electric Boogaloo. If you mean when am I making more music, keep your eyes peeled, wink wink, perhaps. Yeah, I don't know that there will be a Growing Pains sequel, although growth is ongoing. I could technically just keep making Growing Pains because the Growing Pains, they never stop. That sounds more bleak than I think I intended it to. Frogger King _ legend asks, out of all originals you wrote, how did you end up picking the ones in the album instead of the others? Yeah, this is a good question, because you would think for someone who has been writing songs since I was 14 and has somewhat of a back catalogue of stuff that I have made, that I would have just pulled from that rather than doing the ridiculous task of writing a whole new set of music for the album. And yet here we are. Most of the songs on the album were written for the album, or in the process of creating it, I would write a song and be like, oh, this would be good there. Which was such a choice. I just feel like a lot of my older stuff is very much focused on a specific like period of time in my life, and processing like very specific things and relating to specific emotions that I think didn't necessarily fit the kind of vibe of a story of a life or like an arc of growth that I wanted the album to kind of reflect or explore. So it kind of felt right to write songs for it. And also I think the further back into my catalogue you go, the less good things get. A lot of my older stuff is very much me figuring out the reins of how to be a songwriter, which isn't a bad thing, and it doesn't mean that those songs are bad, but I wanted the album to be like a really solid, cohesive body of work, and I think that kind of resulted in me writing new stuff for it. I guess also like I created it in 2020, which was obviously a bizarre and cursed time for all of us. Unprecedented, one might say. I wish one wouldn't. But I think that creating original work for the album kind of helped me process a lot of things that were going on around that time in a way that I, in hindsight, find was really valuable. My sweet dog, Jake, passed away whilst I was making the album. And writing songs like The Garden and stuff like that kind of helped me to process that and work through it a little bit. So yeah, I don't know, it was a choice. I don't even know if this answers the question. I've just been speaking. I hope that this is in any way coherent. I think I probably have a list somewhere of the songs that I was originally going to put on the album. Like, I went through my back catalogue and was like, if I were to put all of these songs into one place, what order would I put them in? I've made those kind of lists for a long time because I've always thought about making an album. But when it came down to it, there were kind of gaps that I wanted to fill that could only really be filled by writing new stuff. So that's how we got here. Yeah. Axel Quack asks, which one is your which one is your personal favorite is the question. And what a delightful question it is. In terms of writing, I would say maybe Elizabeth or Trains. I am very proud of those two in terms of writing. I just think Trains is a banger. Like, it's just really fun. And Elizabeth really specifically captures something that I have always wanted to capture. Not that it like does it 100% or that it's like particularly, it's not like my magnum opus or something. It's just a really nice song that like I was going for a very specific feeling and I think I did it. And it was inspired by Elizabeth Bishop's poetry and like that kind of first love in childhood, specifically kind of like first queer love, where it's like friendship but not really, because you're kids and you don't know what any of that means yet, like what it means to be in a relationship. and also not being hugely familiar with like queerness, and trying to process all of those sorts of things and being like, I know that this is love, but what kind? I don't know. I'd say it better in the song, I think. In terms of production, I think Trains and Murder Song are really solid. Like, for what I was working with, I think I kind of went a bit ham on those two, and it paid off. I like those ones a lot. And also Moon Man. Moon Man is really sweet. Moon Man, I think, I wish that I had produced it better. I don't know. I think I was going for a vibe that I didn't quite capture, but I don't know. Maybe someday. Maybe I'll revisit it. Maybe I'll re-release it. That's not the announcement. That just hold on, wait. Spuds asks, who were the people on the speaking tracks and was Grace one of them? Grace was not one of them. I organized the speaking tracks by putting a little Q&A box on my private Instagram story and was like, does anyone want to give some advice to their younger self and be involved in my album? And the people that responded were the ones that ended up being on it. And Grace did not respond. If I were to do it again, I think I would just make a whole album of those tracks and like ask everyone that I know. I think my original plan was to have it be like people in different stages of life. So like ask like a younger cousin and then like the oldest member of my family or something like that, which I think would also have been a really sweet idea. But I do like that it is very specifically people of my age group giving advice to like a younger version of ourselves that like a lot of my audience would be like. The kind of advice that they're giving is to people that listen to my music in terms of age group, which I think is really sweet. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I will do a Growing Pains 2. Maybe, is that a helicopter? Aha, Clara asks, is more merch ever going to drop, because I need that hoodie? Which leads me very swiftly on to my little announcement, which is that I am re-releasing my merch for a limited amount of time. The merch was designed by my lovely friend Ben, who is the last interlude on the album. He's the little So Far So Good one at the end. And he designed a hoodie that I should probably have put on for this video. Give me a second. I'm back. I'm a professional. This is a difficult maneuver with the mic and but this is the hoodie. I'll put it on. Here it is. This is my beloved Growing Pains hoodie. I wear it 24/7. And it is part of the merch that I am re-releasing. You can get jumpers, you can get shirts, you can get pullovers that don't have this hood. Yeah. I just think it's really cute. It's me as a mouse playing guitar on a mushroom. What's not to love? And I am re-releasing it for a limited amount of time. I think we'll say 2 weeks, perhaps. We'll see what demand's like. I don't know. That's so wanky. But yeah, you can buy it at the link at the top of my bio if you would like. I just thought that I would re-release it because I keep getting messages from people saying that they missed it last time. And it's also just really cute. And it's been a year since Growing Pains. So anyway, might as well. My other thing that I wanted to say is that me and my wonderful friend Grace, who isn't on the album, have done a little fundraiser thing, which I will also put at the top of my bio. I keep saying bio, I mean description. This thing down here, it's there, the link, see it? To a GoFundMe. We're raising money to split between a number of other GoFundMes for people raising money for gender affirming care or safe housing, because being trans myself, I think those things are really important and necessary, and I would just really love to raise some money to put towards those causes. I always share links and stuff like that, but I thought perhaps if we were to collect the money all in one place, then we could equally distribute it between these 5 GoFundMes, as opposed to sharing them and maybe only one of them getting traction, if that makes sense. So yeah, feel free to donate to that too if you'd like. I'll be putting towards a portion of what is raised from the merch to that GoFundMe, and also I'll be donating some of it to the Marsha P. Johnson Institute, because they do good work and they're good people, and I love Marsha P. Johnson, as you probably know. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much for sticking around. I know that I haven't been very active on YouTube in the last while, but I just really appreciate everyone who has listened to the album. and who still like finds those songs important and like engages with them. I just think that's really sweet. I was looking at the stats recently, and I think if you add up all the streams that the album overall has gotten, it's like 1.3 million, which insane, ridiculous, incredible. I might cry if I think about it a little too much. Like that's just on Spotify. That's okay. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say a huge thank you for sticking with me and for listening to my silly little songs, which aren't that silly. I'm trying to be nicer to myself. They're good. They're nice. 7 out of 10, I think, was the rating I gave them. I hope you have a good day. I hope the new year is treating you well. Maybe I'll do more videos like this because it's kind of fun to just sit down and chat to a camera.
Hello, Sammy from the future. The video decided to choose that exact moment to cut me off, which is very funny. But here I am again. Just wanted to say thank you. It's still technically Growing Pains Day. I know I'm uploading this very late, but listen to the songs in my honor if you like, or leave some comments about your favorite songs or experiences with the album. I don't know. I like it, and I hope that you do too. It means a lot to me as a body of work, and I really appreciate that it means a lot to other people as well. Yeah, have a good day.